Hey everyone, Anthony Fantano here. I'm laughing at my own funny faces, I'm sorry. Getting one more review done today, the new split LP from Nmesh and TELEPATH. Two, at this point, vaporwave titans, and more on the ambient side of the genre, I may add, since vaporwave really has diversified in a lot of ways. I've had this new split album of theirs for a little while now. Nmesh passed it along to me, and I gave it a listen. And full disclosure, I will say he, without me asking him to, he just sort of stepped up and offered out of the kindness of his heart a while ago. When CATALOGUE came out with that song, the remix for the song Coco, he was like, "Hey, can I remix this song?" And I was just like, "Sure." Does no skin off my ass, not my dumbass remix song. I don't give a fuck. Remix the song all I want. And then he came out with this really odd 10-minute long remix of the track, which lands on the tail end of the new Classic mixtape. So, that being said, I am talking about music he has made along with TELEPATH on this project over here. So, alright, let's get into it. So it is a split album. One half is one artist, the other half is another artist. And they both share commonalities, but I think there are differences. But the moments when I try to point out differences in my own head, there are some spots that I think, well, and I guess generally I will say that the first half of this record is very serene, it's very beautiful, it's very light, though it does have its moments where it is heavier, bassier, darker, has some very steady and patient, relaxed percussion. Much of the first half of this thing seems to pull from a lot of music from it's new age, it's ambient, but it seems to kind of have these notes of Asian music, of Chinese music, of Japanese music that's supposed to be, I suppose, meditative in nature. So it just sounds like Far East meditation music. And not like true blue, not like purist music in that sense. It's almost like the kind of music that stereotypically would be playing at some kind of, just like the cliche music you would find at a massage parlor or something. But it seems so heavy and vast and digital. It's like I'm waiting in a digital waiting room at a massage parlor through and it's some kind of weird program called Digital Waiting Room, and I'm using it on like Windows 98 or like an old IBM computer or something. It's an odd description, but I think it fits. Okay. Now the second half, TELEPATH's half, I find to be much heavier, much bassier, much darker, though again, I will say it does have its beautiful, stunning moments. Most notably, two of the longer tracks on the second half. There is one more thing to note here. TELEPATH's half, a bulk of it is taken up by this 22-minute and this 11-minute track. Meanwhile, the first half of the record is mostly broken up into like 5 to 1-minute chunks. So, but that being said, the album from beginning to end, and it's 2 hours long pretty much, is just like ambient music up the ass. There isn't really too much variation beyond that. It's very layered, it's very dense, it's very textured. I think my only issue is that aside from some of the moments that include heavy percussion, this heavy, steady, very 80s-ish percussion, aside from those moments, there isn't too much variation on the aesthetic and the mood and the tone of the music here. I just wish there was more variation. Though I do think that there are a lot of different stylistic flavors going into these tracks. For a bulk of the album, it's like you're just hearing the same stylistic flavors in the same kind of balance a lot of the time. Though again, I do appreciate those percussive moments. I do appreciate the heavy drones that go into this album. That's another thing. I mean, it's very much a drone record as well. I do think it has a lot of great characteristics to it, and again, I do think it is pretty intoxicating at points. It is pretty gorgeous at points, especially on Telepath's half. On Telepath's half, it's really some of the chord progressions that I think are beautiful. And then on the first half, Nmesh sort of seems to be delivering to us a lot of these pan flute solos and pan flute leads, or these pipe leads, which a lot of the time are very beautiful and sort of cascade up and down the key that the chords are in or that the drone is in. And it's usually very pretty and relaxing, and like I said, it's kind of like digital age meditation music. Again, you know, that vaporwave shit, it just sounds like something that, you know, would have been on a CDR 10 years ago in the back storeroom of some, I don't know, some local business, and they just kind of have the CDR around for some music to play in the background as they kind of do whatever they're doing at their place of business. And this is certainly that, but it's really heavy. You know, it's really kind of forcing your head into that ambient mood, into that ambient mode. And it's really digital, it's really synthetic. And those things alone sort of take it out of the context that I think a lot of this music that they're impersonating sort of comes from. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting project. You know, I can't say I loved it. I think it is a little one note, and I think that that these two artists sort of made the musical and the stylistic points that they wanted to make long before the 2-hour runtime of this project came up. But I do think this project has a lot of good things going for it, and I think that you should give it a check. If you're looking for some ambient music, if you're looking for some really vast, explorative, heavy, dense, and thick electronic music. And I hope you have a nice day. Anthony Fantano, Nmesh, Telepath, forever.